All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome to the latest edition of the Power Platform and Dynamics 365 Technical Update Briefing for February of 2023. Thanks for joining us. Today we'll be doing things a little bit differently. Today we will not have finance and operations content, but we will still be covering Dynamics 365 customer engagement along with the Power Platform and all the other good technologies that go along with that. So joining me today is Madan Sampath. And Madan and I will be teaming up on the content today. Madan is a principal cloud solution architect at Microsoft and focuses on Power Platform and Dynamics. And my name is Ryan Anderson. I am a senior cloud solution architect at Microsoft and also focus on Power Platform and Dynamics 365. During the call today, you can use the chat function or the Q&A function. So feel free, if you have questions, go ahead and post them there, and we will do our best to get back with you on that. The slide deck for today's call will also be available, and we'll post a link where you can find that either during the call or if you're listening to the recording. With that, you will also have the recording after the call today, so you can find that on our YouTube page, and we'll post those links in the chat, and we'll also have them in the slides as well. All right, so with that, let's jump into our featured news for this month. The first item here in the featured news is around Viva Sales with the new GPT seller experience. So you've probably seen Chat GPT and AI all over the place lately. This feature here is within our Viva Sales product. And uses AI-powered experiences with Viva Sales to help sellers communicate more effectively with prospects and customers. So what I would recommend is taking a look at the link here, and there's a couple of great videos that kind of show how this works. This uses AI to help sellers focus time on what matters most, which is making meaningful connections, building trust, and creating those long-term relationships. So now Viva Sales will generate suggested email content for a variety of scenarios, such as replying to an inquiry or creating a proposal. And it'll complete that with data specifically relevant to the recipient, such as pricing, promotions, deadlines, auto-suggesting customizable content. Sellers can spend less time composing emails and searching for sales data from colleagues and databases. So definitely take a look at that demo that's available through those videos. Some pretty cool technology there using the OpenAI and GPT service. Okay, moving on. The next topic, we wanted to mention our Microsoft Customer Success Day that is coming up on March 16th. This is a free event sponsored by Microsoft, and it will be held March 16th. So come and get inspired by Microsoft senior thought leaders, software engineers, and customer success experts who are focusing on empowering customers to accelerate their success with Dynamics 365 and Power Platform products. Our fantastic speakers are ready to share their insight on how to accelerate and transform your business. So come and take a look at this event. It's dedicated to Microsoft Business Applications customer success with dedicated tracks covering implementation, adoption, optimization, expansion, and migration in support of business value management, adoption, and change management themes. So there's a link there on the slide to register for this event. Also, the shortened link is aka.ms/MCSD23. So make sure you check that out. Again, a free event from Microsoft focusing on business applications. Okay. So let's jump into the service updates for Power Platform and Dynamics 365. So the biggest news here around service updates is the 2023 Release Wave 1. This is our typical release cadence. The last was the 2022 Release Wave 2, which was back in October of 2022. So this is the Release Wave 1 for 2023. So some of the milestone dates are on the slide here. Back in January 25th, the release plans were made available. Early access then became available on February 6th. So you could start testing and validating some of those new features in release wave 1 that will be coming in April. On February 21st, we made the release plans available in some additional languages. And then general availability for release wave 1 will be on April 1st. And so this is like I said, typical release cadence. So the general availability will get rolled out over different regions, over different dates, and we'll cover that here in just a bit. But for now, what we recommend you doing is testing out some of the early access features in your test environments. That should be available and was available as of February 6th. So you can go into your test environments, turn that on, start testing out some of those early access features. So there's no surprises come April when the GA gets rolled out. As far as the general availability, the way that works, there are specific dates for your environment on when that will get turned on automatically if you don't turn it on ahead of time. And so, depending on what region your environment is in, that'll get turned on at different times. What we would recommend doing is making sure that either you know the dates it's going to get turned on, so there's no surprises, or you can go ahead and turn that on manually come April 1st when it's generally available. So if you turn it on manually, obviously more control of when that gets turned on and what you're doing there. If you don't turn it on manually, those will get turned on automatically and on the certain dates for your region. So just a little bit about some of the features available for early access. There's the overall features we have listed in other slides kind of later in the deck here. But just in general, this one shows just some of the Power Apps features, but just wanted to kind of call out how these work. Some of these are early access features that were available February 6th, like I mentioned, and you can turn those on in your environment now and start using those. Typically, these are the ones that are going to affect the user UI or affect the user experience in the applications. So you'll want to make sure that you're aware of these, aware of the impact that they may have when they get turned on your users. And so a lot of these you'll find kind of throughout the whole release. If you look under the enabled for column here, it says users and automatically. Basically, that means that the feature itself is designed for users, and it'll get created or it'll get turned on automatically when you either turn on that early access feature or when the GA gets turned on in your environments. And then you can also see there's a date for when early access is available, and then also the date for general availability. So you'll find this information for each one of the features that are in the wave. There's a few other options for when who it's enabled for. You'll see some that are enabled for admins. And then others that are where it's enabled for users, but there's a separate step you need to take to actually turn that on. So that's a separate category for different features as well. So we definitely recommend you going through and taking a look at the different features that are available in the release wave, specifically these ones that are enabled for users and enabled automatically. So those are the ones that get turned on right away, just to make sure there's no surprises when wave 1 gets enabled in your environment. So a couple links there to take a look at that show more of the features, and then also the dates and those kind of things when they will be available. This next one, this is what I mentioned. This shows when the different regions and when the general availability of Wave 1 will be available to your environment, or when it'll get turned on automatically in your environment if it's not already. So these are the different regions. So depending on which environment or which region your environment is in, the dates could change a little bit. So if you have an environment in these regions in the first list here, general availability and wave 1 will get automatically turned on the weekend of March 31st through April 2nd. So kind of starting that night of the 31st and all the way through the weekend. If you're in other regions, if you're in the US and if you're in the North America region, you won't see this get automatically turned on until the weekend of April 21st to the 23rd. Again, you can turn these on manually before these dates, but these are just the dates when it will get turned on automatically if you don't do it manually ahead of that time. So you can take a look at these dates, and you can get more information there on the link on this slide. Okay, so moving on, and the next section we want to talk about here a bit is deprecations and retirements. So a few things to be aware of here. We had some retirements and deprecations kind of towards the end of last year. And so the first part of this shows that November deprecation of the data export service. So that was retired back in November. The other thing that was scheduled originally to be retired in November was the Dataverse OData version 2 service. That actually got moved now till April. So if you're still using that in your environment, be aware that that is to be retired now in April. The other things you'll see in April, there are some customer service admin areas that are going to be retired. And then also there was an announcement around omnichannel for customer service, and that's been deprecated. So difference between deprecation and retirement: deprecation is just an announcement that that feature will be retired at some point in the future and be going away. The retirement announcement is the actual date when those things will be retired and no longer available. So that's the difference between the deprecation and retirement. So a few things definitely to be aware there in April. Also, to back up just a little bit, in January, there were some of the model-driven app controls that were deprecated. Those are to be retired now next year in April of 2024. So basically, we're announcing that those are going to be retired in April. So a few things to be aware of there. Some of those controls include like the autocomplete, input mask, multimedia player, number input, option set, and star rating. So those are deprecated as of January. And then kind of looking forward a little bit, in October of this year, that would be when our Wave 2 for 2023 is released. But one thing to be aware of there is that Dataverse Legacy Connector will be retired in October. So there already has been a deprecation announcement on that one, but the retirement is actually coming in October of this year. So be aware of that. Again, these deprecations and retirements, the dates can change, things can change throughout. So make sure you always look at the first link that's posted there. The important changes link always has the latest and greatest as far as announcements go. Okay. One more topic on updates. If you're on-prem, there's a new update in January for on-prem, so both for the version 9.1 and 9.0 of Dynamics CRM on-prem. So those are available now as well. Typically, those are coming on a monthly basis, so make sure you're up to date as much as possible on those. All right, I am going to turn it over to Madan to cover the product updates.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. Let me just take control of the deck here. All right, moving on to product updates. We are excited to see Microsoft named a leader in the 2023 Gartner Magic Quadrant for Enterprise Low-Code Application Platform for the 4th consecutive time. We believe this underscores our commitment and command in the market, materialized in amazing innovations by more than 7.4 million monthly active developers on Microsoft Power Platform. Over the last 2 years, Microsoft has greatly advanced its vision for low-code. The recent announcement of managed environment and co-authoring, Power Platform has cemented its place as a secure, governable, collaborative low-code platform at enterprise scale. Customers such as Accenture, Rabobank, Equinor are using Power Apps and Power Platform to rapidly build, scale, and govern solutions to solve their business challenges. Just an FYI there. Again, the link is over there on the screen for you. Please feel free to click through and read more. Just FYI, all the links that you see are actually available for you to click. They are all live links, so you can click them. And you will also be putting the deck and the recording of this session on chat. Moving on, onto the Power Apps specifically. Just jumping into some of the technical product updates here. I'm sure you must have been familiar with the concept of virtual table. Most experiences around virtual table from my customers are that it is too difficult. Customers wish they had an easy way to integrate external data, such as from SharePoint and SQL into Dataverse. We are excited to announce that makers can now create virtual tables directly on the portal um, in just a few minutes using our guided creation wizard. As you can see here, you have a new table from external data option. So you can quickly rebuild a model-driven app with your existing SharePoint list or SQL directly using virtual tables. Virtual tables now allow create, update, and delete, create, read, update, and delete operations. So for example, you can actually make a SharePoint list appear as a table here, and it would work and function exactly as a database table. The great thing about virtual tables is that you can set up relationships between database tables that are native to Dataverse and virtual tables. So essentially, it would behave like as if the data is in Dataverse, but the underlying data store would be somewhere else. In this case, the SQL or SharePoint. So you can now start creating virtual tables very easily using this wizard. All you need to do is go to the Maker portal, click on Tables or Solutions, click New Table, and select the Table from External Data option. And you'll be prompted to select a connection and walk through the wizard, and you should be able to create a virtual table very quickly from the get-go. Really, really cool and easy option for us to be able to get this going in a few clicks. Moving on. Easily sharing device between multiple frontline workers during Power Apps. We're excited to share the immediate availability of a shared device mode, essentially in public preview for Power Apps for Android. So frontline workers would now be able to quickly and easily create and secure login and log out of devices when handing off mobile devices or sharing kiosks. Essentially, if you're using a work device and that is being shared between multiple users, it would be a great way for you as a customer who is in that space to be able to, have a shared device. Typically, that is used in retail storefronts, for example. A store where you have people walking around with devices, and it's not necessarily assigned to a single person. Anybody can pick a device and log in. So that's a great option, and we are now making available the shared device mode in public preview for Power Platform. Again, click on the link there to read more. So to access the new functionality, users must download the latest Power App for Android, and administrators must enable this new function via Intune. Moving on, we're happy to announce that the IP-based cookie binding in Dataverse is now generally available for all our customers. The security feature allows the administrators to safeguard the Dataverse platform by blocking the cookie replay attack. It's a security technique that helps protect Dataverse against cookie replay attacks, this IP-based cookie binding feature. A cookie replay attack occurs when an attacker intercepts a valid cookie and exploits it to impersonate a user who originally created the cookie. Essentially, these cookies are used as part of the authentication process. So the cookies are sent and received with an access token. So what it allows us to do is ensure that the cookies are tied to the IP so that you cannot have a hacker in between trying to grab your access token and continue to work as if it is you. That's really what it is. If the IP address of the request does not match the IP address of the device where the cookie was originally created, the API will automatically reject it and prompt the user indicating that the session may have been compromised. That's really what it is. Okay, moving on. So as I'm going through this, feel free to ask questions. Obviously, it's not possible if you're watching the recording, but if anybody is there on live, chat, please feel free to ask questions on the side, and Ryan would be able to answer it while he's waiting. All right, next one. Making Dataverse available for all makers. Working with Dataverse has now become easier with a development environment that comes with premium capabilities without any additional cost. You can work with Power Platform using Dataverse for building applications, where now you can work with the relationship modeling in Canvas apps, leveraging model-driven apps, ALM, PowerFX, and more. The development environment is a great place where you build and run the app with Dataverse in your own personal space, without restriction, and then eventually share the functionality to a production environment. So that's really what a development environment is. Development environment honors the tenants DLP policy, and it's a secure place to for makers to start creating that experience while honoring their organization's policy. Moving on. What's new and planned for Power Apps? I mean, this is just a FYI link. There's a lot of new features coming in for Power Apps. Feel free to click on these individual links and continue to get your updates, read about them, and you have the general availability date. So those information are available in the link. So you take a look at it and see what's coming for 2023 release wave 1. Switching over to Power Automate next. We have new Excel's new Automate capability in the Automate tab within Excel. Allows you to tackle your automation needs quickly using Power Automate. Within this tab, you can now build Office scripts and enhance their capabilities using Power Automate. Office scripts in Excel allows you to automate Excel tasks by recording and replaying your action on different workbooks and worksheets. Use Office scripts to combine multiple workbooks into a single workbook, control when calculations happen within a workbook, and so much more. For example, you can connect your Office script with one of Power Automate's 900 plus connectors like Outlook and send daily emails summarizing changes made to your workbook. The automation possibilities are endless, and the experience even includes common templates to get you started quickly. Get started, again, click on the link there. Get started by using a sample script or start from scratch from inside the Automation tab in Excel. The Automate tab is now available for Office 365 E3 and Office 365 E5 license users in Excel, and for Windows and Mac. Previously, this tab was only available to Excel on the web, but now it's available now on the desktop apps as well. Moving on to connectors. As you can see here, there are 9 new independent publisher connectors in January 2023. Independent publisher connectors are connectors developed, tested, and published by a connector developer that are independent from the backend service or API. There are constantly new connectors being pushed to the platform. They all get reviewed and signed off as part of the publishing process. So as you can see, there's a lot of new things available. Again, click on the link to read more about them. Moving on and continuing with Power Automate, our great friends over at Microsoft Mechanics are mentioning how automation is one of the top interest areas from their subscribers. And we thought it would be great to do a quick walkthrough of these recent capabilities. There's a video there that spans the whole automation cycle, from understanding how work happens when in your organization to prioritizing multitude of automation capabilities, from building these quickly with complex systems like SAP to track return on investment from these automations. A lot of interesting links there. These have come up repeatedly in our discussion with customers, and in this walkthrough, we talk about how you use Power Automate to across the whole automation lifecycle, including the desktop process mining capabilities in Minute. So managing automation projects, again, a lot of interesting information and videos there. Click on the link. There are a couple of options that you can learn about. Easily scaling your desktop automation with hosted RPA bots, RPA with Power Automate in Windows, how we built it at Xerox, RPA at scale with Power Automate and Azure Virtual Desktop. A lot of interesting options there. Click through to read more. Okay, more on connectors. There are now 100 in total, 111 verified, 11 new verified connectors and 18 updates released in 2023, which is awesome. There are, as you can see, there are 18 connectors that have been updated. That includes Azure Digital Twins, IoT Central, Consensus, Form Recognizer, and so on. And new connectors here: bulk SMS, business assets, cognitive services, speech to text, and so on. So click on them to read more. Moving on, there is a new ultimate sentiment analysis solution. There's a video there where you will learn in 1 minute how to use Power Automate and Microsoft Teams to integrate with AI Builder's sentiment analysis pre-built model to automatically detect the sentiment of incoming emails. When you receive a message, it's about your business, into your business, you probably want to address it as quickly as possible to reduce customer stress and maintain loyalty. So this is going to help you level up your email management. If the sentiment analysis says the sentiments is negative, you may want to respond sooner, and so on. So watch this video to see how AI built a sentiment analysis model. It's going to help you, avoid getting bogged down by emails that may not require immediate attention, for example. Interesting stuff there. Moving on, and staying along with Power Automate. Power Automate makes it easy to build automations and provide single unified experience to manage, monitor, and administer Power Automate flow. Typically, the Power Automate portal, make.powerautomate.com for the commercial cloud, is the default way to manage Power Automate flows, such as cloud flows and desktop flows. But now, with the introduction of web APIs, you can now manage desktop flows without the need for using the UI, allowing administrators and Automation Center of Excellence teams, COE teams, to manage at scale. So now we have the ability to use management APIs on Power Automate. Some of the actions or APIs allow you to list available desktop flows, get the schema of your desktop flows, get the status of a run, input, output, trigger a desktop flow run, cancel. All this can be programmatically executed. The link is there for you to click more and view them. But these are new interesting capabilities for Power Automate that will allow you to manage at scale. Okay, so next one on the January 2023 update for Power Automate Desktop. Couple of new features there. More SharePoint connector actions are available now in Power Automate for Desktop. Text-based selectors have now been introduced. And now Power Automate also performs a certificate check during login, and error screenshots can now be prevented from being captured. Those are the interesting new features in Power Automate Desktop for January 2023. Feel free to click through and learn more. On the Power Automate side, staying with that, a lot of new interesting features there as part of Power Automate Cloud Flows planned for release wave 1 in 2023. A few features, as you can see, are coming up for public preview and general availability later this year. A lot of interesting features there: publish cloud flow execution into App Insights, monitoring performance for cloud and desktop workflow activities, use natural language, and so on. Feel free to click through and learn more. On the desktop flow side, same thing, a lot of interesting new features planned for later this year and in spring. Creating desktop flow connections without password, ROI performance, pass complex data between parent and child desktop flows. Interesting capabilities that are being rolled out for Power Automate Desktop. Feel free to click on them and read through more. Switching over to Power BI, the huge list of feature summary for Power BI now that includes some new capabilities on the reporting, analytics, modeling, data connectivity, paginated reports, embedding, TypeScript support, visualizations including third-party visuals. A lot of interesting capabilities on Power BI in the February 2023 update summary. I'm not going to go through each and every one of them in detail. That's for you to click and read more. But here's a quick overview on what's coming in Power BI for February 2023. Moving next, they're now announcing metrics design, scorecard, time zones, and more. As you can see here, there's now capability for you to show next milestone, adding capability to show scorecards and auto collapse in reports. New features there. Again, click on it to read more. Interesting visualizations for you to be able to provide more visually appealing reports. Staying on the theme, we also have the capability to integrate Viva goals into Power BI. That's a new capability that we have recently provided that will allow your teams to organize OKRs, objectives, key, and results with the Viva goals integration. That is a new and interesting capability there to integrate Viva goals and Power BI integration to align organizations' OKRs. Staying in theme with Power BI, they're now announcing Microsoft Teams collaboration improvements in Power BI, where now you're allowed to do deep link that takes users directly to the exact data selected on a specific page in a report. And also within Teams, rich preview card is generated when the Power BI app is installed in Teams. So now people can, as soon as you paste a link, you're going to get a card there right there, as you can see. That will allow users to click on the open button. The card has a couple of buttons such as open and subscribe, so you can click on them instead of just having to click on a URL. So users who receive these links have an idea exactly what they're trying to do instead of trying to open a random URL that may not clearly describe what it is. On-premise gateway, new updates there for December. Again, just download links there, click on them to download the most recent version of the on-premise gateway. Staying in theme with Power BI, we are now announcing backup and restore improvements for large data sets near the size limit. Here is, as you can see, is a sample restore command that can be used to roll back the data set to a previous version so that you can continue to have a usable data set without necessarily worrying about style or without limiting yourself or having issues with the data set because data set went over the size limit. So this will allow you to restore back to a data set that is usable. Staying in theme with Power BI, we are now announcing embedding the capability to embed your Power BI organizational apps in Microsoft Teams channels and meetings. There are three important qualities that help teams and groups work together effectively. You can now share an organizational app within an Office 365 group so that all the team members can access all the app content. This streamlines permission management. You can bring all the related content into a single navigation that would be customized to your team's needs. You can streamline content discovery so that more of your end users, because it's branded by an icon name so that users can more quickly find the data they need. As you add more reports, end users can easily find and discover them because they're part of the same organizational app they already use. This way, by embedding Power BI organizational apps and teams, they're improving discoverability, permissions, and targeting and customizing to the team's needs. Now we have a couple of new functionality in DAX that allows you to use a named user culture function that allows the ability to implement measures that implement label translations dynamically. If you are having functions such as date, you can actually format it by what it does is it extracts the current user's culture from the user's profile so that things are automatically converted into the appropriate text, translated to the appropriate text. So you don't have to worry about making the localization just a little bit easier. Again, you can click on the link to learn more about this new capability. All right, moving on. A couple of new capabilities that are planned for Power BI that is coming later this year in public preview and general availability as well in spring and beyond, such as sending unique report per incident recipient with paginated report, automate migration from Azure Analysis Service to Power BI, and so on. Click on them to read more. There are a lot of interesting new features coming. Along the same line, moving further along, similarly, again, as part of release, one more new features are available. So again, take a look at them when you get the link to the deck. Moving further along, what's new with Power Virtual Agent? Again, we didn't have any specific individual feature to call out, but click on the links here that are shown to be able to understand what's coming. A lot of interesting features come in for Power Virtual Agents, that would such as triggering bot topics by events using Power FX expressions on the configuration side, on the authoring side, enriching conversations, giving users a natural experience with multimodal response authoring, and so on. A lot of interesting features there. So I encourage you to click on each of them to see what's coming. Some of them are, as you can see, already in public preview, but some are coming in, going to be GA'd, generally available in later this year, beyond spring. So I encourage you to take a look at them. Likewise, moving along with onto Dynamics 365 and customer engagement apps. There's one interesting feature that we want to call out, which is Viva Sales. So we are now allowing the editing of Viva records in a Viva Sales admin in Viva Sales settings. And there's a special Viva Sales admin section that allows editing of records. We're also providing restricting editing for specific fields capability and also customizing the detailed views such as adding fields, removing fields, reordering fields, and so on within the Viva Sales experience. So encourage you to take a look at them. And if you're using Viva Sales, these are cool new capabilities that we'd like you to explore. Further along, again, a lot of links here. What's new and planned for Dynamics 365 Sales that allows you to with Salesforce execution and sales automation. A lot of interesting capabilities there. Take a look at them on the Dynamics 365 Sales portal to see what's coming. Similarly, we have continuing a lot of interesting features there. We couldn't fit in one page, so there's 2 pages of new capabilities. On the customer service side, again, similar capabilities are coming on the customer service app, such as accelerated time to resolution with AI suggested replies, keeping track of conversations with AI generated summaries, and so on. Interesting capabilities coming in public preview in spring and into GA in April 2023. Encourage you to take a look at them. There's also new capabilities on the supervisor and omni-channel experience there. So a lot of on the omni-channel experience, a lot of interesting capabilities there. Some of them, most requested. For example, making the workspace app available for omni-channel roles, enabling customers to keep queues, spot, and get callbacks, integrated external Nuance IVR with customer service on the omni-channel, Those have been some of the features that have been requested, so they are coming, into GA in April 2023. On the platform side, that is available horizontally across all the apps. Again, new features coming in on the Dataverse platform, optimizing data ingestion performance with create multiple and update multiple APIs, sending alerts when database APIs with usage limit. Again, interesting feature. I know people get throttled, customers get throttled when they hit the usage limit. We don't necessarily alert anyone other than sending 429 responses back asking to try again. But now we are adding the capability to send some alerts when it hits usage limit, so that mitigative actions can be taken by the customers. On the Dataverse event side, we are adding the capability to use process mining with events and receive real-time notifications in Power Apps. And on the personal environments, we are doing more with some enhancements to personal environments, governing on personal environments, and makers can quickly adding ability for makers to create quickly and easily access a database environment. A lot of new capabilities that coming further down the line. I encourage you to take a look at them. So with that, I'll hand back to Ryan to cover the learning corner.
All right. Thanks, Madan, for taking us through all the product updates. Lots of good stuff coming, especially with the release wave 1 in April. All right, so Learning Corner. For those who may be new to the call, Learning Corner is basically we try to kind of curate the latest and greatest information that's available, like maybe videos, blog articles, online learning opportunities, some of those kind of things, and put together in this section. So first off is our Power Platform Power Cat team. They have a great YouTube channel with lots of really great videos there, new capabilities, lots of different things. So if you have not looked at that, I would definitely recommend taking a peek. Yeah, lots of new stuff, and they keep building new content there. So just the videos listed here are just a few of the latest ones, but they have a lot of good stuff out there as well. So take a look at that one when you get a chance. Also, kind of as part of that same Power Platform YouTube channel, we have what's being called Low Code February, which is almost over, I guess. Today is February 28th, but Low Code February is basically just putting a focus on low code resources like blog articles, videos, lots of different content to help everybody get ramped up on the best ways to use low code, especially with the Power Platform. So there's a playlist there as part of this YouTube channel that goes through a lot of different low code scenarios. Also some links that point out to other low code blog articles and that kind of thing. So if you're getting started with low code, definitely recommend taking a look at the Low Code February resources there. In addition to the Power Platform YouTube channel, there's also a Dynamics 365 YouTube channel. So lots of good videos there as well. Some good highlights of the upcoming release wave 1 we've been talking about. Things like the Viva Sales AI experience that we talked about as well. So lots of good content out there on those videos. So take a look at those. In addition to just the Power Platform, if you're using Dynamics 365, then definitely recommend checking out that YouTube channel as well. Okay. So our team, we're a cloud solution architect team at Microsoft. We manage and host a blog with a lot of articles that a lot of the content there, a lot of the topics come from our direct work with customers. So typically a lot of good information out there as well. This list is a few of the latest blog articles that are out on our blog. So take a look at that. Power Pages collapsible tabs, Power Pages confirming email address fields, how to utilize Dataverse multi-select choice column metadata and Power Automate, more Power Pages modern community, and how to change and swap layers of two managed solutions in Dataverse. So covering a kind of a wide range there of different topics, but mostly around Power Platform, around Dynamics, solutions, a lot of good stuff there. Also on that same blog is where we post information on this webcast, along with more information just on monthly updates as well. So definitely check out and follow that blog and those articles. Right, and I think lastly, so Power BI, the Power BI community does a great job in putting out information on new features, learning opportunities, that kind of thing. So there is a Power BI community, and this is the webinar and video gallery for that. So if you're using Power BI, I would definitely recommend keeping an eye on this for all the latest and greatest information there. Power BI dev camps, authoring and customizations with embedding Power BI, just lots of good topics there to keep up to date on. So you can read more there as well. And with that, I think that takes us through the content for today. Again, apologize for we didn't have the F&O content today, but we'll get back to that next month. In general, you can find more information on the slide or on the links on the slide here. Those go to the blogs that I mentioned earlier. The aka.ms/Power Platform Tub, that's where you can find the slide deck and also eventually the recording of this call you can find there. I have put some links in the chat for where you can find the slide deck, also where you can find a list of services that our team offers as well across Power Platform and Dynamics. So take a look at that when you get a chance. If you're listening on the recording, I will also put those same links in the description on the YouTube video as well. So not seeing any more questions or anything, but so thanks so much everyone for joining. If you want to keep updated on when we'll be doing this webcast again, follow us on Twitter at PFE Dynamics. Also go to the blog, subscribe to those, and we always post an article on when the next date will be, and also the registration information to sign up for these webcasts. So make sure you do that as well. So, Madan, thanks for helping out today and running with the product updates. Thanks everyone for joining, and we'll catch you all next time.